Johnny!
Here's Johnny!
Man, so what a chapter. We had all sorts of Nanami hype, we had Naobito hype, obviously Fushiguro getting in there, and then that last page, man, he was creeping, and sure enough he showed up, so it's a big old family reunion. But anyways, this is official JUJUTSU Kaisen Translator Steady here. Welcome back to another Manga Lounge. We are here for chapter 109 today. Shibuya Incident Part 27. We have a lot to talk about, so I hope you brought a drink. Got a little bit of good stuff right here. Let's get that. Good sound, good sound. Alright, so chapter 109 incoming. Here we go. Are you ready? Let's do this. Alright, so chapter 109, Shibuya Incident Part 27. So 27 chapters is 3 volumes worth of chapters now. And you know, there's some people that are out there talking about how this is such a long arc and this and that, but it's not when you think about the whole kind of grand scheme of things. Like, you'll have arcs in manga that go on for like 10, 12, 13 volumes worth more, you know. So we're at this point, we're only 3 volumes in, and it just keeps on getting better and better. So we left off last week with Shiguro coming in with his Chimera Shadow Garden, doing his, I don't know, it's like a volleyball reserve kind of volleyball receive kind of thing going on. But immediately he recognizes here on page 1 that Dagon here, this octopus guy right here, Dagon, when he was still kind of cute, now he's scary. When he came in, recognized him as the master of the domain. That's why I love that word domain, because it just has that extra oomph when you're kind of talking about these situations instead of area and things like that. So, but anyway, so Dagon's saying, man, voluntarily entering the domain, you know, because the thing with domain expansion, the Ryoiki Tenkai, is that it's very easy to get in. It's very hard to get out, though. It's easy to get in because, remember, in the Machito Nanami fight, you kind of go on to explain, because, you know what, no one wants to try to get into a domain expansion in the first place, so the efforts aren't made to really keep people from coming in, because it's kind of a suicide mission, remember. So I always like that point. So right here on page 5, with Shiguro doing his best to keep his domain going, it apparently has the effect of kind of counteracting the Dagon's domains, the guaranteed hit. Remember, one of the effects of the domain expansion is that element of the the guaranteed hit. Whatever you kind of throw out is going to hit, right? Obviously a big advantage of the domain expansion. So Dagon recognizes this and he goes straight for Fushiguro. But then I like this, it's kind of easy to miss on page 6 right here with the frogs. You see and that's Nanami jumping. Nami just dashing over to Fushiguro and then gets that hit in. And ooh, I don't know about that eye right there. Is he going to be? And it's almost kind of like a Shonen Jump trope, right? That kind of someone loses an eye and later on in the chapter loses an arm. So maybe we're going to have eye patch Nanami. Who knows? Maybe, hopefully it's just bleeding, but could be that one eye is effectively gone right now. But obviously Nanami staying level-headed, asking Fushiguro what's going on with, remember, because he knows that he's supposed to be with Ino and Yuji, so he asked that immediately. Says, I'll protect you, so just keep focus on your domain. And then Naobito coming in. And then we move on to keep on moving on to page 9. Dagon throws this huge kind of like eel attack, but even and now this also kind of gives us an idea about Naobito's power, because we saw Naobito use this kind of frame power on Dagon before, who's relatively kind of like maybe man size, a little bit bigger than that, but even this huge eel thing, he's able to frame it up, so that kind of gives you an idea the extent of his power. We'll have to kind of see. He was able to kind of use it freely against a special grade curse as well. So perhaps the upper limit is actually pretty high in terms of what he can, who he can use it again. Perhaps he just has to have certain conditions though, like he has to actually be touching whatever he is trying to put into the frame. We'll see. But even before they point it out in the following pages, eagle-eyed fans will notice that Naobito's arm is gone. To be completely honest, when I was translating this, I did not notice that. I completely missed it. And then the next page obviously points it out. But of course, I love this cockiness. There's just something about Zenin family. Very cocky people. I love it though. It runs in the family, right? All that for one arm, even though it was 71 years old, it's still gonna cost you. I love that. But then page 12, we see Nanami trying to do his best with the ratio technique. And he's recognizing that they've kind of composed themselves a little bit and they're kind of getting the upper hand, but that's not going to last for long, right? Obviously, Fushiguro's starting to run out of cursed energy. That's the thing with domain expansion, right? Is that although it's a very powerful technique, you can't just use it willy-nilly and you can't use it for long. So it seems, unless you're like Gojo or Mahito maybe. But it's awesome, again, this Akutami Sensei's brilliant mind, that Fushiguro's not there doing kind of a tug of war. What his actual objective is to break a hole. So it's apparently possible. Fushiguro does it at the end of the chapter. So it's certainly difficult, but it's definitely possible, which is kind of is a big deal. I mean, we'll perhaps see this later on in the series when we have these kind of domain expansion battles. Perhaps not just kind of this tug of war, but when someone recognizes that their domain isn't quite as strong, there's always that option of opening up a hole. Or maybe perhaps it's kind of a characteristic of Shadow Chimera Garden. Who knows? But this is kind of the really cool stuff about Jujutsu Kaisen, right? They kind of answer a few questions but then kind of bring up a few more. It always kind of keeps you guessing, right? And then of course I like this on page 14, this little conversation here between Fushiguro and Nanami. I love Nanami's it's so human of him, right? I hope you don't plan on staying behind. And then this line from Fushiguro just shows his growth. Remember, before he was so quick to just throw away his life, if it meant to protect someone else or to do what's right. He had no second thoughts about throwing away his life. But now he's starting to kind of value that a little bit more, right? And I love that even if I risk my life, I don't plan on throwing it away, which I love how that sentence goes. Then Nanami with the assemble Avengers. It's very much kind of has that, but he basically says in Japanese shugo, which means assemble, gather around, gather up. But it's specifically choose this assemble because even in the kind of the following frame, it's supposed to imply that he says it kind of in a roundabout way, right? He can't just say, "Hey guys, come over here. There's going to be a hole," this and that. He says it in this kind of roundabout way, and I love this because You know, in frame 4 here says, they would put their trust in the grade 1 sorcerer's words. And, you know, without a second thought, they say, grade 1 sorcerer, it's Nanami. Boom, just listen to him. Even Naobito, you know, there's that respect there, right? And I absolutely love it. And just kind of this narration that's going on. I had such a amazing time translating this chapter because the narration was just so beautiful. Page 16, escaping the domain, an option that was believed to no longer be possible, had once again come into play. And you see them using the frogs to kind of go across. It's still on the water, right? So they're using the frogs kind of as stepping stones. And this incredibly beautiful like way of conveying Dagon's thought process here. Are they protecting the boy? But that makes it easier for me to get them all at... And then something clicks. It's the exact same drawing, but just the colors are inversed. But you know, but that's so effective, and it shows you that thought process of, oh, that kind of realization, the kind of the light bulb, right? The ding. But in this case, kind of like a, kind of that kind of, it's not a revelation, but kind of a, no, you know. And then here we go. That hole starts to open up. Remember, they're in the station, right? And then as they're gathering up, you know something's about to go wrong here. Just the way that there's just all of a sudden no text and it's just 4 of them around the hole. And then you have this beautiful narration here on page 18. Those who inherited the curse of the Zenin family. The one who couldn't fully leave behind that curse. They would all bear witness to the bare flesh of the one who is free. To the one who left it all behind. And his overwhelming intensity. Oh, Toji coming in. I love that. Just I love the arms kind of coming in, and you're like, oh my god, who is that? But then you know this kind of the connection here with the Zenin lineage, right? And then as the narration goes on, you kind of have an inkling. And then boom, you turn the page and it's, and I love that he's upside down, right? It could be just as easy as him just coming up ways, right? But it's the fact that he's upside down, it just has that even greater effect. And it's almost kind of reminiscent, the pose, sort of similar to how kind of the way that Gojo was when he was fighting Toji, right? Just kind of that liberated, like, I'm about to kick some ass. But yeah, it's just these last 2 pages, just the way that Akutami Sensei had this narration going on here, and I did my best, and I think it came out pretty well, if I do say so myself. The translation here hopefully kind of conveyed how beautiful and poetic it is. Man, big old family reunion, everyone's here. Who's got the potato salad? Man, it's just yeah, it's absolutely incredible, and I cannot wait to see what happens next week. Toji comes in, right? And then he's right next to Maki, Nanami, Fushiguro, and Naobito, right? And remember, Toji is very much, you know, he's physical combat, and he loves to use weapons, right? And then as of right now, we've got 2 weapons right within arm's reach of Toji, one of the best curse tool users around. Perhaps he's going to get his hands on a playful Cloud. That would be pretty insane. All I know is that it's going to be one hell of a family reunion here, and we're going to have to kind of see what headspace Toji is in right now, right? So he did, you know, he was kind of brought back through this seance technique, but remember, he killed Granny Ogami as well. So the one who used the seance technique is dead. So it kind of gives birth to this kind of dilemma about what's going on with the curse technique. and what the mindset of Toji is right now. Even if he saw Fushiguro, would he be able to recognize him? I mean, it's been a while. They look identical pretty much, but it's also been, you know, what, like, I want to say like 10 years or something like that. And perhaps Toji's not really in the right headspace. Certainly Megumi wouldn't recognize Toji right away. Maybe he will, I don't know. But the one who would recognize him perhaps would be Naobito, though, right? We'll see. It's but yeah, I'll leave it around there. I do want to say, hey, thank you very much for all of you that leave a like, leave a comment, you know, share that positive juju. I really do appreciate it. Makes it all worthwhile. And I'm just have a blast really talking about when you have a manga this good. It's fun making these videos in the first place. But hopefully we'll have another unboxing on the way as well. And yeah, hey, I mean, with that, we'll see you in chapter 110. Cheers to you. You know how we do. Mata yoroshiku.
Here's Johnny.